Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is session 4 of 4 of our special November series, where we're helping folks prepare for January. Conversations with Finding Your Road Home. Crystal Bellamy, and I'm here with Terry from Infinite Synergy Wellness. Terry, good. I am so happy that you are here with us for the last time. Not that it's the last time. I'm not happy about that. I'm just happy that you're here. Sorry.
All good. It's our last session in this 4-week podcast that we are doing based on really getting ready for January, for our creating momentum to go into January with ease, joy, flow, bliss, grace, and actually follow through with what we want to set up for January, and hopefully avoid any backsliding in the holiday season. So glad everybody's here.
Yep. Last week we talked about our energetic boundaries and how to set those. And so hopefully you had a great time. Well, maybe not necessarily a great time, but hopefully you did some journaling.
Oh, come on, we're
fun. We were having a great time. Sometimes working through heavy stuff like that is not always fun. We recognize that.
Yeah.
But we are hoping that maybe us having some fun out there made it a little bit lighter for you. So, yay, we're setting those energetic boundaries. Because I will tell you, it's not always easy, but sometimes I'm silly and I'm like, force field up, put it up. And I just little hand motion and I put up my force field and we're good. So this week, we want to talk about our victim stories. We all have one. There's a story we're telling ourselves that, and maybe we don't necessarily have one now. Maybe we had one before. Maybe one will be coming up because there are cycles that repeat. But we all have victim stories. And that's just where we're telling ourselves that we're the victim. And so how can we release those victim stories? And how can we thrive instead, right? So that's what we really want to talk about this week. I had a tough time with this one because I was raised that you don't make excuses. Like when I would get in trouble, they would say, why? Why did you do this? And if I would say, oh, well, I did it because so-and-so was doing it, I get the same thing that everyone would get. If so-and-so is going to jump off a building, are you going to jump off the building too? And so I had to learn that I had free will and that was an excuse and I was not allowed to use those. And so that was a great muscle that my mom gave me. But that doesn't mean that I don't have moments where I have gotten down in there and felt like I was the victim and woe is me, someone's picking on me. And I don't mean that as woe is me, you shouldn't feel that way. That was just my feeling at the time is, oh, somebody's picking on me. And so for 6 months I cried. You have a story, right? Do you have a free will, a victim story, Terry? I just don't.
Well, sure. I mean, everybody has trauma. That's the thing. We all have. And trauma is a big word right now that a lot of people are using, and having come out of the COVID pandemic, I mean, a lot of people have had struggles, traumas. When we say victim story, it really is that we truly believe that we have struggled with something, right? And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. We might feel that there are some things that have happened that just seem completely unfair. And to that, I say, I acknowledge and validate that for myself and for others. And it's okay to acknowledge that. But living in it and beating that drum, that changes our frequency, our vibration that we give off. Yep. And if I live in this low frequency of this victimhood, this sadness, this badness, if I live in it and I just keep repeating it, it could turn into depression. It could turn into lots of bad things. And when I'm vibrating at that frequency, I tend to attract more of it. And so the idea here is to let go of that victim story, not because it's not valid, not because you not because we're saying you were not wrong when you were wrong, but letting go of it, surrendering to the universe that everything that's happened to me has happened for me so that I can learn and become stronger, and seeing myself thriving. That's the goal. That's the goal for this week. And that's a lot to pack in. Like, a person who's gone through some serious trauma might be listening to this and going, yeah, whatever, lady. I cannot.
Nah. It doesn't have
therapy if it's that bad. But
right.
For many of us, this is, if you're in the right place for this and you can hear this message, how can you surrender? It has to be your free will.
And maybe it's a small thing. Like, for example, as a technology trainer, and this will lead into an activity that you could actually do to do a release. But as a technology trainer, I would encounter a lot of people who don't even know how to turn on the computer. And so with that comes a lot of fear and a lot of trepidation. And so I was wise enough to know that you have to help people let that go so that they could actually hear what you were going to say. Because if they're so busy being afraid of the stuff, they're not going to hear you. And so we would do an activity where they would write down the things that frightened them, and we would put it in a box, and we would go through the mental thing of letting it go. And then we'd go through the training, and then at the end of the training, I'd pull a few of them from the box and ask them how they feel about it now. And they had completely let stuff go, and they had embraced the new thing. And that is just such a simple little activity of putting it in the box. It can be a piece of paper. It could be a mentally put it in the box. It's just I'm putting it over here. Some people say I'm putting it in the chair. I'm getting it out of the way so that I can move on.
So we could do that physically by, like Crystal said, I have a box. Got my box here for you. But I have a little amethyst in. I put the yuck in the box. Like, really, if I'm still seriously struggling, going for a walk, that's very grounding. If I can't go for a walk and I'm just like, why is this just like sticking to me? I just feel like I place it in the box. You can write about it. You could talk to a friend about it. There's lots of ways to let that energy go. But for your journaling prompt, what would you have to let go of in order to become a better version of yourself? This is key. It's key in the transformation work that both Crystal and I do. And where we see people fall off is when they are holding on to an old belief. Jim Quick says, if you I might have to look that one up. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. And that's what we're trying to do here, is let go of them. No one's saying that you weren't wrong. No one's saying that the other person was right. No one's saying this or that. We're just saying, if you want to hold on to that, you're going to keep consuming it. You're going to keep eating the shit sandwich, and you need to let that shit go. How can you let it go?
Yeah. And if you're just trying to run away from it, you're just really running towards it. So you really just have to let it go in a healthy way.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is probably the toughest week. We will be doing some fun things to kind of like show you can counter and release things in a fun way. It doesn't all have to be heavy. That's really, I think, where my focus is this week on how my post will be. And then as far as January goes, I feel like Terry's program is going to work through a lot of that. To me, you need to physically and nutritionally work through a lot of those things. But I hope that my program will also assist by allowing you to just be a little more intuitive and see what's out there and know what's there, because as we're using that free will to go out there and become this other person, another version of ourselves, I just want you to know what options are there. So, because I don't think there's one right way or one wrong way. So my hope is just to expose you to some things and then give you some easy words to tap into to help express that, because sometimes our emotions get in the way and we can't, the words don't come to the surface. So
Beautiful.
thank you.
Love
So
it.
your program is going to be so good though for helping with all that energy that we need to be able to thrive.
Well, like I said, I see it all very cyclical. It's all
Me
so
too.
cyclical. The people that join a program like mine, especially the people that join January 1 and then peter out in 2 to 3 weeks, it's not the exercise or the nutrition. It's that's not the problem. The problem is that there's some energy work that needs to be done, some emotional work. We make all of our decisions based on our emotions.
Yeah.
And so if we're not feeling good, if we start a program that's too rigorous physically or too strenuous in terms of nutrition, like too low of calories or not eating enough quality food or trying to do too much at once, we're just going to peter out. We're going to run out of the energy that we need to do it. So a lot of times clearing the energy in what we've been talking about in this 4 weeks makes everything so much easier. You just feel so good that you feel like you want to go walk, you want to go exercise, you want, and having a good workout partner. You know, Crystal and I are walking buddies. We walk and we talk, we get on the phone, and
well,
we do it all. Like we crave it. I crave it.
I do too. And as you start working through that energy, it becomes easier. It's not work. Once you start working through the energy blocks, it's not work to be able to become that healthier version of you. Once I started our chakra program, your Chakra 1 program, which led to us doing Chakra 2, it was just a natural thing. And I've lost 10, 15 pounds now, and my clothes feel better, things feel better, I feel healthier. It's just been a really beautiful thing because it's the first time in my life that it didn't feel like a struggle. So I know that I can maintain it as long as I keep working on my energy. And why wouldn't I do that? Because it makes me feel good.
Duh. I love it. I love it. You know, 33 years of me trying to teach people these techniques of fitness and diet. And who knew, really, it's the energy. It's the energy work that we need to be doing first and foremost, because everything else is easier. So there it is.
Yep, there it is.
So our program together is going to be so amazing, you guys. I am so excited for January. As you know, November, this is all free information. In December, we plan to do some fun projects. There will be a fee for it. It's a small fee. It's really just to help you all get through the holidays with some very fun ideas of how to honor your current traditions in ways that do not stifle your health. And so we're really excited to share.
And that don't turn around your train or back your train up. Like keeps that momentum of your train moving forward, to keep our train analogy from the beginning going. Because it's all about not having to expend the energy to turn our train around in January. We want to just expend our energy to keep that train moving forward, because the hope is that we'll make it so much farther than we made it any previous year. That's all we want, just to make it a little further.
Love it. Mwah. I love you guys. I am
Thank you. Grateful. Love you, everyone. And we hope to see you again soon. Watch our Instagram.
Yeah, hope to see you in December.
We're going to do lots of fun stuff this week, and stay tuned. Make sure, if you haven't already signed up for December things, make sure that you find those posts and you get signed up for December now. Thanks, everyone.